Hey, what it is. Y'all already know it is. It's one of the hosts, the big boss hog, boss dog can't poke through the door. We got our other host, Coach B, aka Brody on the hustle on the panel with me. This is Clutch Factor. We clutched up, we clutched out. You know what we talking about. Teofimo López, man. We talk about his hit list, man. Can he beat Boots? Can he beat Gervonta Tank Davis? And can he beat Terence Crawford? We gonna talk about it. Stay tuned. Brief little break. But y'all know what it is. We finna get right back to it. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the session. Welcome back to the session. This is a special episode for Teofimo López. But y'all know, before we get in the soliloquy, before we do any talking, remember tough times don't last. Good people do. Don't know if you still kind of in the line. Remember you matter. Also, we finna toss it to Coach B real quick. Coach B can have the flow to speak to the audience out there, you know what I'm saying, to my people in Russia, down under, in Australia, and Africa, everywhere. So, Coach B, let them know something. Let them know how you been.
Hey, what it is, folks? What's happening? What's happening? It's your boy Coach B, as he said. Of course, I'm on the road right now. That's so you might hear a little extracurricular going on in the background, but it is what it is. I'm back on that grind, that real true shine type grind. You feel me? But anyways, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all the people across the world, everybody that will touch us. Pause. That will touch and see this video again right now. You already know what it is with me. Pause, no freakies in full effect. I'm not gonna keep repeating myself. Y'all know what it is. Ain't none of that funny stuff over here. But anyways, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's gonna, get a chance to come across the video and watch it, share their opinions. Of course, our opinions matter just as much as yours. So we respect anything that you have to say. If you want to contest what we have to say, if you want to agree with what we have to say, if you just want to kind of debate and elaborate on what we say, you know what I'm saying? The floor is yours. Hit us up. You know what I'm saying? K-Paul will give out that email at the end of the video for y'all to always be able to chop it up with us. Of course, we'll see y'all in the comment sections as well. You know what he say all the time. We ain't running from no smoke. So with that being said, let's cut the chit chat and go ahead. Let's get to that.
Already. So now, Teofimo López, man, he came out. He was interviewed on ESPN. They asked him what his next fights, what did he want them to be. And Teofimo gave an interesting take. He said he wanted to fight Boots, which I don't know where he got this courage from to want to fight him, but he said Boots, Gervonta Davis, and Terence Crawford. So we're gonna start with Boots. The first question I got for you, coach, is this: do you feel like that fight can happen? The next question I have is, if it does happen and is made, where will you think will be a great market for that fight to happen in? And also the style matchup. Do you feel like that's a winnable fight for Teofimo López due to the fact Boots kind of is looking like he's declining? His last couple fights, he's been getting touched up a little bit. So, do you feel like that's a winnable fight for Teofimo López, or do you think Boots just wiped the floor with him? The floor is yours, coach.
Uh, I'm gonna be honest. The initial question is why won't this fight get made? It shouldn't be a question of is this fight or should this fight be made. It should be more of a question of why wouldn't this fight get made? Both these guys going up in weight, right? Oh, okay. I'll let that sit and rest right there, and we can go. I can go on to the next question. The next question, if this fight does happen, uh, what's a marketable place for it? I ain't gonna lie. I would say right there in Philly. That's a good spot for both of them. Now, of course, it'll be more to the advantage of Boots because simply because that's where Boots is from. But at the same time, Philly is not too far from from where T.O. hails from. So I think everybody will travel well down to Philly. Again, as I would say, I would put it in Philly because the more marketable person right now, in my opinion, is Boots. So why not put it in favor of the more marketable person and just get all the rest of the draws to go ahead and follow in? You know what I'm saying? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Both of them gonna make bread off that fight. That's not a fight people gonna run from. People gonna watch that immediately. Soon as that fight is even brought up and talked about and put in the same realm, there both Tio and Boots will both start receiving that immediate attention and bag getter because they both need that name. They're both still in that that struggling position with their brand. But anyways, I say Philly. drop it right there in Philly. That's a good scene for both of these guys. That's a good scene for both of these guys, in my opinion. Segue off into the next question. What happens in the fight? Who wins it? I ain't gonna lie. That's a tough decision because, like you just mentioned, both Boots is on a little inconsistent spiral towards downhill right now. So it's kind of like and we all know with Teofimo, when you put him in the ring, you never know what the hell you're gonna get from Teofimo. You might get one of those classical matchups that we seen with him and Lumachenko, or you might get something we seen what he did against Cambosa. So that's a tough one to actually, put a true W on. But if I had to go with a guy in this fight, and hopefully I'm not going with the wrong guy, because again, I'm not taking anything away from Tio. He's a dangerous damn fighter. He's a real good fighter, and then he pointed out himself, he's the only Mexican fighter that fights the style that he fights, because a lot of Mexican fighters can't, get into that style of fighting. He's very athletic. He's very slick at times. He's very his mental is off the chain too. If you're really paying attention to Teofimo in the ring, his mental state when he's in there, he actually be doing some nice dark side work, and people don't even give him credit for it. But anyways, I'm gonna still rock with Boots in this one, simply because Boots, he's had the better hot hand as of lately, even though he's trending, downward. I'm still lean with Boots, simply because I think if it came down to it, Boots has the natural characteristics to fluster Teofimo Lopez. Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez is a guy who kind of trained and taught himself his skill set. He's not your natural, Mexican fighter that you run into, the Mexican warriors that you run into. He's not that same type of style of fighter. But anyways, I'm gonna lean towards Boots in this one, and I'm gonna leave the rest of that right there.
I think a good spot for this fight would be Brooklyn in the Barclays Center or Vegas. Um, for me, in my opinion, I think Philly people know who Boots is in Philly, and like kind of like you said, I wouldn't mind seeing it there either. But if I wanted to pick a place where both guys could get a little bit more exposure, because both guys need to get more exposure, right? So of course Vegas would be better for both of them, but if they want that, it's not a lot of they get that feeling. A lot of people ain't gonna get behind that fight, Philly or New York. Uh,
Right.
do I think this fight happens? I'm in agreement with you with that. Why not? You know what I'm saying? It's a name. Teofimo will be moving up 7 pounds to fight Boots. But at the same time, if Boots can't get another champion, why not get a name? That's who you want. You want names, right? So Teofimo Lopez is a name. So why not go after that fight? You know what I mean? Why not tell the Hearn, hey, if I can't get a unification, give me Teofimo Lopez. You want that smoke? I'll offer it to him. Who wins this fight? I got Boots by stoppage. Teofimo Lopez is a good athletic fighter, but he's a striker. And like you pointed out, you never know what you're gonna get from Teofimo Lopez. Boots, yeah, he's on a decline, but he's more consistent. You know what I mean? On the offensive side. Now on the defensive side, you never know what you're gonna get from Boots defensively. He may have a fight with like Roman Villa where he doing the matrix in there. And you like, oh my God. And then he got a fight like he just had against Chuka Daisy, and when he getting touched by stuff he shouldn't get touched by. Pause. But I still think that Boots, like you said, has more cachet. I think Boots just got more in his tool belt. I mean, he throw punches from different angles. He can throw an uppercut from a weird angle and it's gonna land. You know what I'm saying? So I think Boots, I would pick Boots by like late round stoppage. I say 10, 11. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna be early. I think Teofimo will make it interesting, but I feel like Boots is he on the decline, so people feeling like, oh, I can whoop him, and it ain't what it seems. That's how I feel about it. But we're gonna segue off into the next one. We got that boy Tank. That's the next person he didn't put on his list. He said, I want Gervonta Tank Davis, like everybody want. Everybody want Tank. So, Coach, do you feel like this fight can happen? Right? And do you feel like Teofimo Lopez can win this fight? And where should this fight be? Let me know something.
Uh, if I had to put, a label on this one, I would label it as one of the fights that probably most likely wouldn't and shouldn't happen because it's just too much in between, too much far in between at this point with these two. Davis, his mind is somewhere else right now. He's focused on dealing with what's in front of him right now, and then he's throwing the word retirement around and just so much circling around him. He wants to go other ways with his life at this point. And Teofimo, he's Teofimo himself. He's got other aspirations for himself. He's trying to go up, and try to deal with bigger. He got bigger fish to fry. Put it like that. Not saying Tank ain't one of those big fish in the ocean, but at the same time, it's like he going up in weight. We already know Tank and said it, numerous times. I'm comfortable down here. You're not gonna take me somewhere where I'm not comfortable. If you want to fight, you want to talk, you got to come down here. And I don't see Teofimo going way down there, you know, just to get a fight with Tank. So I don't think this fight happens, even though this is not another one of those fights that I think it should have been happened. There's really no excuse on why it didn't or why it shouldn't. But it's just one of those fights. Like, why not? Why did we not get this fight? These two guys are considered one of the best in their era, and it is what it is. I mean, you can't take too much away from either one of them. So why didn't this fight happen? Only time will tell. Of course, we're not gonna ever get the full story on why it didn't happen, but I think this is one of the fights that I think is furthest away from happening. I don't think we're gonna get this fight. But if we were to get this fight, of course, there's no other place I would, have it be other than Vegas. You know what I'm saying? It would be nice to get it down there in Baltimore, Maryland, where Tank is from. Of course, I'm being a little biased right here. I didn't send Boots to his house. I didn't send Tank to his house, so it may seem like I'm being a little biased, but at the same time, I'm not. It just would make sense to have this one in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Tank is already you got your real attention grabber. You got your true dog when it comes to a fighter. Not saying Teofimo's not, but at the same time, why would you not have this in Vegas? Everything's right there for the taking. I mean, the story puts itself together. You got two of the best in that era going against each other in Vegas. You got to put this one in Vegas. And if it happens, I got Tank. I'm gonna say Tank finally dropping round 11. Tank go ahead and do away with him round 11. In my opinion, stylistically, this would be a great fight. This would be an instant classic between Teofimo and Tank if we were to get this fight. Even though I know we're not gonna get it, but at the same time, I got Tank finally stopping Teofimo round 11, late round 11, because Teofimo decided to do some Teofimo shit and he get caught with some shit he ain't got caught with all night. Excuse my French, but I'm done with that one right there.
Yeah, I agree with you with the stoppage, man. I think it's gonna be a late round stoppage. Um, this fight, I don't see it getting made. If Teofimo go to 147, the only way I see this fight getting made is if it's fought at a catch weight, and which could happen. But if Teofimo goes up to 147, I don't see him trying to fight Tank at a catch weight. So it's if Teofimo stays at 40, maybe Tank can maybe try to get him to, hey, let's fight at 138 or something, kind of like what he did Ryan. You know what I mean? Um, but other than that, I don't see this fight happening. Also, Bob Arum, uh, I don't think he believed that Teofimo can beat Tank. Like Bob Arum was 100% behind Lomachenko fighting Tank because he believes that Lomachenko can beat Gervonta Tank Davis. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I feel like that's Gervonta Tank Davis' toughest fight is Lomachenko. But this fight, I agree, should have happened long ago. The reasons we don't know. We can't get into all that. But I got Tank by late round stoppers, like you said. I think it'll be a very interesting fight. Tank is a slow starter. He kind of takes his time, and Teofimo's kind of awkward a little bit. But Teofimo got power, so Tank won't really be as aggressive like he was against Frank Martin, walking him down. I think you'll see Tank kind of on the back foot a lot. He would probably try to bait Teofimo in, and I think it's gonna end kind of how Tank did Rolly. I think he gonna catch Teofimo with something, and Teofimo gonna do the Macarena, and then he gonna lay it down. Um, so That's the end of that. Now we got the finale. Buckle up, the finale. We got Teofimo Lopez versus Terence Crawford. Nah, this is a real beef. Terence Crawford want to fight Teofimo on the street. He don't want to fight Teofimo in the ring. Teofimo was talking trash to Terence Crawford on Twitter. Terence Crawford said, "Where you at?" He said, "I'm at the store." He said, "Which store?" "I'm in Vegas. I'm in your hometown." Teofimo said, "Vegas is not my hometown." Terence said, I'm trying to come see where them bananas at that you was talking about. So Terence Crawford trying to fight Teofimo in the street. He don't want to fight him in the ring. But if this fight happens, where and who do you got winning? Let me know something, Coach.
Bud Crawford, Teofimo Lopez. Uh, I will put this one in the Barclays Center. I will put this one in New York. I wouldn't give it Vegas type vibes. I don't see it being a real Vegas type vibe type of fight where people follow like that. But at the same time, we know the Bud Buddy's gonna follow. But then again, you still got Teofimo on the flip side of the coin, and his fan base ain't always truly 100% behind him. They kind of iffy. But at the same time, when To's fan base do decide to show up and show out, they're gonna show up and they're gonna show out. They're gonna do their thing. But they not always 100% there. So I don't see this one being a Vegas type vibe. I see this one being more like like you mentioned earlier, a New York Barclays Center type vibe. I believe they can go in there, fill that arena up. You know, you get Omaha to come out, you get Teofimo side to come out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that'll be a nice little vibe for both of them. So I give this one the venue for this one. I say Barclays Center. Uh, if this happens, if this fight was to happen, and I ain't gonna lie, I think this is a doable thing in my opinion. This is something that we it's not a necessarily must have, a must see, but I think this is something that's doable. I think it's something that's doable, especially with Crawford. He of course he's still looking for the cash cow. You know what I'm saying? He's still trying to get Canelo, which is cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You trying to get you a payday before your heyday, which is cool. But at the same time, I think this is very doable. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is not like I say, it's not something that's must see TV. But if it's gonna happen, you gonna watch it. And I think this one don't have to be for nothing serious because there's already ill intentions there. You know what I'm saying? This don't have to be for no belts, no legs. They just need to scrap. These two just need to get a good scrap in. And I think this would be a great scrap. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm finna flip the script on you, Bud buddies, right here. There. A while ago, there was a guy named Roy Jones Jr. Right, and Roy Jones Jr. Ended up running into a guy named Antonio Tarver. You don't know your history. Go back and look at your history. I think if I'm looking at it right and I'm really paying attention, I think Teofimo could end up being Bud Crawford's Antonio Tarver moment. I think because Teofimo again, he's just as athletic as Bud. Both of them are very athletic fighters. Both of them are very strong in their rights and what they're good at doing as fighters. But I think if I'm really paying attention to how this goes, I think Tio might be a little bit slicker and a little bit more athletic than Bud. And I think he gonna give Bud a run for his money, in my opinion. I'm just be honest. I'm not gonna say he sit here and sleep Bud and he beat the brakes off of him, but at the same time, if Bud is not on his A game, Teofimo could easily beat him. And I'm just being honest. And this is just off of the eye test. This is not even going in detail. This is not even going into who has the better jab or who has the better footwork. It's not going into none of that. This is just off the eye test from what I have seen from Bud Crawford as of lately. Teofimo will give him trouble, and if you don't believe it, you need to go back and watch some film on Teofimo and both Bud as of lately. And I'm gonna leave it like that. Matter of fact, I will pick a winner. I say Bud. Bud gets the win. He get a split decision or a majority decision. Bud gets it. But at the same time, if he play around, he will lose to Teofimo Lopez.
Dang, bro. Hey, you have me over here. Hey, the Bud Buddies for the bluff this comment section. Uh, you say anything about Terence Crawford. What? But I agree this fight should be in New York. It's a favorable market for both of them. Uh, Teofimo's claiming New York, so it'll be a hometown fight. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna be real. Teofimo, Bud would get up for this fight because of the racist comments that Teofimo was saying. So, if anything, if Teofimo was respectable, I definitely could see it how you see it. How basically like, hey, Bud just kind of came into this fight, not taking Teofimo seriously, and Teofimo might mess around and win. But this is a fight where that man called him a monkey, and basically said, "Hey, you need to come get the banana." Whichever one he called Tank monkey too. I think
Right.
it's personal, and when Bud get personal, he get active. And I see Bud body bagging and toe tagging Teofimo. I'm not gonna lie to you, but like I say, if Teofimo comes in, because in his big fights, to your statement that you made, all his big fights with the big names, he's performed well. The Josh Taylors, the Lomachenko fights, he's performed well in his step up fights. So he may very well be that individual, that fighter on that said night who get Terence Crawford run for his money to where it's real close. And Terence Crawford is 37 years old too. So you got to play that into the fold too. But I just think due to the fact that Teofimo turned this into something else, Bud gonna make sure he come in there to kill something. And that's what I think is gonna separate the two. That killer instinct that Bud got. See, Bud
Right.
want to kill you in there, and that's what I think is gonna book her down to. Is that I still think it's going. It's still I still think there's gonna be some rounds. I still think Teofimo will win some rounds, but I got Bud stopping him in 8. You know,
Mm.
I think in 8 rounds he gonna. I think maybe for 1 or 2 Teofimo going because Bud's typically a so slow starter. Uh, I think rounds 1 and 2, uh, Bud may give up those rounds, but after that, once Bud figure him out, it's gonna be a wrap. Bud gonna start countering them, switch hitting, all that stuff. You know what I mean? And then it's just gonna. I think it'll be a mercy stoppage around 8. That's what I believe. But Teofimo, he's it looks like he's adding Eddie Reynoso to his camp. So do you think that'll help him be a better fighter, coach? Do you feel like that'll help him go to that next level, or do you feel like he is who he is? It's not gonna matter.
I'm gonna put it like this. In my opinion, I think Reynoso is a very underrated coach. I think he's very underrated, in my opinion. He doesn't get the lights and respects of some of these other coaches that's been out or been hanging around the sport a long time, and he's been around a long time as well. And you don't get a chance to just ride out with somebody like Canelo, just being your average coach. You got to be something. You got to be somebody. You got to be giving a fighter of that caliber something for him to say, "Hey, this is my guy. This is my coach. This is who I'm taking with me to the promised land." Because as a fighter, you got to be real. You got to be. It's a few things you got to be picky about when it comes to your professional career. It's those who's around you, those who you let teach you, train you, and coach you, and mainly your mental. You got to be very picky, and you got to be very stingy about those three things, especially once you become a professional. It starts as an amateur, but it really lets you know who you are as an individual once you become pro. Because the pro ranks is completely different from amateur. Amateur, you show up night in, night out. You kind of start getting used to some of the fighters you see, the coaches and the other teams, the other fight teams around there start seeing who you are. But once you cross that threshold and say you're gonna become a pro, that's when it really starts to show like what you really who you really are and what you really want to be. So again, I think, in my opinion, I think having Reynoso around Teofimo Lopez definitely bolsters him a little bit. It kind of moves him forward a little bit, simply because you get to look at you get another angle to look at yourself in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, you get chances to be around Canelo Alvarez. and not just Canelo Alvarez. You get a chance to be around other fighters because that's not the only fighter, Eddie Reynoso has. You know what I'm saying? He's been around a lot of great fighters. You know what I'm saying? So it's in my opinion, that's a bonus. That's a plus to be able to be around those two in general. You know what I'm saying? Just to pick up some of that, fundamental one-on-one knowledge of what I should be doing or what I shouldn't be doing, or what do you think suits me better. Those questions matter as you become a pro, and you got to be able to get those answers from your coach, from the guys in your corner.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree. I feel like his dad is a little emotional, and sometimes parents can, you know, they can kind of cloud the judgment, because they love they son. Uh, I mean, the David Haney and the other dude fight. I feel like there was a portion of the fight where he should have stopped it. You know what I mean? But he kept him in there, and he kept getting that punishment, in my opinion. Um, so a coach who is a coach who's not, not dad, I feel like will be able to possibly reach the son. You know what I mean? I feel like Teofimo's dad has kind of run his course. You know what I mean? I still feel like he's a good coach, but I feel like Eddie Reynoso, who is a brilliant mind, he's had multiple fighters, the Oscar Valdez, he had Ryan at one point, Canelo, and the list goes on. Now, all of these fighters he had were Hispanic fighters, but they end up being great fighters, and so I think that if Eddie Reynoso does become a coach, he might be able to help Teofimo be better. You know what I mean? Maybe box a little more. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes Teofimo be doing some crash dumb stuff, and you be looking like, why did you do that? Like that doesn't even make,
Right.
you know what I mean? So maybe Eddie Reynoso will keep him focused. But y'all, we've reached the end of the podcast. Y'all continue to subscribe, continue to follow us on this journey. We ain't stopping, as you can see. We keep going, man. We like a Nile. We just keep on flowing. That's just how it is. So I want y'all to continue to like, continue to subscribe, continue to share, continue to support us. Anything that you have, right, in retrospect to uh, ideas and anything that you want to give us that'll help us improve on this platform, hit us up at Houston, KOE at gmail.com. I'm going to say it again, Houston, KOE at gmail.com. Hit us up there or just put it in the comment section, man. We grown men. We ain't emotional. So you could be able to criticize us or tell us whatever, and we'll be able to handle it. But I'm Boss. That's Coach. You got anything you want to say, Coach, before we dip on out of here?
Nah, you know what it is. We're gonna be back. We gonna be back soon.
And that's what it is. We out.